no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Today's Raiders rumors and news are presented by Savvy Lifestyle. If you need some help finding an awesome Father's Day gift, if you're looking for the best knives on the market, head on over to chatsports.com/knife and use code 50Raiders where y'all can save up to 50% off. 50% off. That's a pretty good deal. Also, I'm going to pat myself on the back for not starting to show off with Raider Nation. What's going on? All right, let's find out what is going on here. We're going to get into a Yannick Ngakoue. Did he end up bulking up this offseason? We know that he's not at OTA. Some people are starting to panic on him a little bit. But guess what? My dude is working out. He's in the gym, and he's looking hella strong. I don't know about you. I would not want to get into a fight with him. I'd rather pick some guy like Jake Paul. Jake, you know where to find me. So this one's for Chucky Heads. Believe it, baby. Ngakoue posted on Instagram that he is 258 pounds. Why does that number matter? Because last season, whether he was playing for the Baltimore Ravens or when he started with the Minnesota Vikings, he was listed at 246 pounds. Now, I saw a video on YouTube that said that he's gained 12 pounds of muscle. I don't know if y'all realize how difficult it is to put on 12 pounds of muscle. Like, it is not an easy thing to do. So I'm simply just going to say he put on muscle, and he might have also put on 12 pounds. But 12 pounds of muscle, not an easy thing. I get the fact that he's at OTAs. I've heard rumors that he's not happy about the drafting of Malcolm Kuntz. From everything that I know and from everyone that I talk to, that's personally, zero Chucky Heads, tuck rule, tuck that. But I did want to be able to show y'all Yannick Ngakoue over here, and my man has really been working out in the gym. I mean, not too often do I try to put a guy, at least without a shirt on the show, but I think for this case, that way you can see that he is working out, that he is staying in shape, and even though that he's not at OTAs, it's going to be okay. But he did put an interesting thing in his bio, or not his bio, is it the profile, the bio, the picture? I don't know what words I'm looking for. He said, Raider Nation, I'll see you soon. So he might be heading to OTAs really soon. All right, y'all. So now it's time to look into that crystal ball, okay? And I want you to figure out how many sacks for Yannick Ngakoue this upcoming season. If you can try to predict it for me, that would be really great. I got my prediction coming up here in just a little bit. So if you're having a hard number, that sounds weird. If you're having a hard time picking a number, that's what I'm looking for, then you can go ahead and see what he's done the last 4 years, or last 5 years, excuse me. He had 8 sacks in 2020, limited time. 2019, 8 sacks. 2018, 9.5 sacks. That year, though, he had 33 quarterback hits. 2017, 12 sacks. So that's the big number there. And then 8 sacks again in 2016. One of the reasons why I was really excited that the Raiders went out and got Ngakoue is simply because he had the connection with Gus Bradley. He wanted to play in this defensive scheme. So you know what? I'm going to go all the way back to 2017 here. You're going to see a very good version out of Yannick. And I'm going to go and say he's going to get 12 sacks this upcoming season. It's going to be one of his better years, and when you talk about somebody who's only 26 years old, the fact that some people were ripping on the Raiders signing him to a 2-year, $26 million deal, I mean, he's carrying a chip on his shoulder, and I don't know if it's Lay's, I don't know if it's Pringles, I don't know what it is, but all I know is this. I want a part of it, and I believe that Yannick is going to go out there and get himself 12 sacks. Now, if you guys haven't known this already, we are the #1 most watched Raiders channel on YouTube. It's because we do daily videos. It's because we do live shows like you're watching right now, youtube.com/Raiders Report. But we're the #1 most watched Raiders channel because of the nation. And I want to be able to give you guys a voice. I want to be able to talk about the top trending topics that everyone has going on. But here's the issue. I hate getting my butt kicked, and we went from 4th place now to 5th place in the most subs the past 28 days among our Chat Sports YouTube channels. And I try to be very transparent on this show, and when I tell people, like, hey, subscribe, it helps us out here, we have 3 studios at Chat Sports. If I'm ranked 5th in the list of most subs the last 28 days, my bosses start taking away studio time from me, which means less videos for you. I am getting close to going down an extra video a day. I don't want that to happen. So if you still want Raiders coverage the entire offseason, I need you to sub. And if you are subbed, take the link below, send it to some of your friends. Say, hey, this guy needs some more subs. That way we don't lose our free channel. All right, let's go to the next story here on the Raiders Report. Bryan Edwards, is he going to be breaking out in terms of fantasy football? Anytime I can talk Raiders, anytime I can talk fantasy football, man, I can't wait. I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads, and people are talking. So Bleacher Report, they dropped a fun little article here where they try to predict every single team's biggest potential fantasy breakout star in 2021. I was like, all right, I'm going to click on that. That's everything that I want. Edwards was selected for the Raiders, and for those of you that don't know what a breakout star in fantasy is, like if you can draft somebody or even sign somebody off the free agent market in fantasy football and they break out, that's really how you end up winning your fantasy league. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, all right. So essentially, Bleacher Report believes that Bryan Edwards is going to have this giant season, correct? Cool. So this is why Bleacher Report ended up going with Edwards on breaking out. The organization drafted Henry Ruggs III and Bryan Edwards in last year's first and third rounds, respectively. But both need to show more during their sophomore campaigns. Of the two, Edwards may be more likely to do so. Edwards never should have been a third-round selection, but the wide receiver suffered a broken foot during pre-draft training. A year removed from the injury, Edwards can show he's a big-time target working outside the numbers. Now, the other reason why I could understand them going this route is because if you are looking for the receiver who probably is the biggest, who actually probably does have the best chance of having this like monster year, I might actually go out and say that it is Edwards. Now, no disrespect to Henry Ruggs, he's just not the athletic freak that Edwards is. Is Ruggs fast? Yes, absolutely. But as you can see, Edwards is the only star receiver here, and the reason why these 4 players are on screen is because if I got to pick a receiver to really break out and have an incredible year, it's going to be one of these 4 players. Could it be Ruggs? Sure. Could it be Edwards? Sure. Could it be Renfro? If you're in a PPR league, maybe. John Brown also has got some pretty sexy appeal as well. But in terms of upside and in terms of pure breakout talent, I do honestly think that it is Bryan Edwards, because if he ends up beating out John Brown, if let's say Henry Ruggs can't stay healthy, or let's just say Edwards stays healthy and he really just shows that he can prove himself and be that second target behind Darren Waller, I mean, if you're telling me right now you're going to give Edwards like 100, 105, 120 targets, he's going to end up having a pretty damn good season. But this is going to be a little out of context for usual Raiders Report watchers, so I'm going to explain what this means. Fantasy ADP in 2021. That essentially means where these players are being drafted and fantasy football drafts. Yes, there's already simulations for this. ADP stands for average draft position. John Brown's being drafted in round 11. This is a 12-team league. Henry Ruggs, 12 round. Renfro undrafted, Bryan Edwards undrafted. The only time Renfro is drafted is actually, in fact, in a PPR league. But if you're looking to play fantasy football, if you guys ever want to challenge me, seriously, hit me up on IG, MitchellRenz365. But in terms of fantasy value, the best value is Renfro in a PPR. If he's not getting drafted, you're going to find a dude who's probably going to end up getting 45 to 50 catches, and that has a lot of value, especially in a PPR league. John Brown is the dude that I'm going to put my money where my mouth is in terms of the most points. If you want the easiest translation, I don't know if that's the transition maybe, for your Nelson Aguilar replacement, that's what Brown is. 2019, Brown had over 1,000 yards. This past year, he got banged up and he wasn't really able to play for the Bills. I'm telling y'all right now, do not be surprised if John Brown's one of those dudes that has probably close to 700 yards, maybe 6 touchdowns, and really starts showing everyone, okay, this is why they decided to not pay Nelson Aguilar so much flipping money and why they ended up going with a guy like John Brown. Now, I'll tell you what, man, I'm really excited to be able to head up Savvy Lifestyle, because not only is Father's Day right around the corner, not only is the 4th of July less than a month away, they got some awesome knives going on here, and we have a killer deal. So if you're looking for a 17-piece professional knife set, go to chatsports.com/knife. And I don't know about you, anytime I can cut or slash down prices, I'm all about it. And with Savvy Lifestyle, it is so much better. $99.99 usually. We're going to cut that down to $49.99, but you got to remember, you got to go to chatsports.com/knife, and you got to use the promo code 50Raiders. Now, we're family, right? And we're always trying to support each other. So the guy who owns Savvy Lifestyle is my man, Will. He's a big-time Raiders fan. He was like, Mitch, love the show. Would love to be able to put my knives on it. And, hey, that's what we're all about. But what it comes in that 17-piece kitchen knife set, you get modern acrylic stand, so it's going to look really freaking dope, which you guys can kind of see over here. You get stainless steel kitchen cutlery, You get 6 steak knives, a peeler, scissors, sharpener, pizza cutter wheel, and, oh yeah, did I mention the sharpener? I think I did. So they're never going to go dull. Bottom line is this. We got an awesome deal. Go support a Raiders fan. And again, it's going to be at chatsports.com/knife. All right, what's the last story here? And the Raiders, they had the worst offseason out of every single NFL team. I knew when I found this story this morning, I was like, man, Raider Nation is going to freak out. So I'm going to give this one 0 Chucky heads, tuck rule, tuck that. ESPN's Bill Barnwell basically decided to rank every single team's offseason moves and ranked them from 32 all the way down to 1. He ranked the Raiders at dead last, number 32. Now, some of the things that he didn't like. The Raiders lost 3 of their starters on the offensive line. Okay, that's fair. ESPN also didn't like the fact that the Raiders drafted Alex Leatherwood. So, essentially what I'm going to show you all here is this. I'm going to go through and pick out some of the things that Barnwell said that he liked, that he didn't like. The other reason why I'm giving this 0 Chucky heads, tuck rule, tuck that, and I am confident in saying that the Raiders didn't have the worst offseason in the NFL. I'm not saying that I loved it. I'm not saying that it was a good offseason. I'm kind of right in the middle, right? I'm going to cut it right down the middle. Shout out to Savvy. But the fact that, like, you see what happened to the Texans. If they don't have Deshaun Watson, that's almost worst-case scenario. And the Green Bay Packers, they are pissing away their relationship with Aaron Rodgers. If you lose the NFL MVP, that's a worse offseason than what the Raiders did. I mean, just saying that alone makes it 0 Chucky heads, tuck rule, tuck that. So let's go through here and tell you some of the moves that Barnwell ended up liking that the Raiders did. He liked the fact that they invested in the defense, again, in free agency and in the draft. They liked that they signed Yannick. They liked that they signed Carl Joseph, and the fact that they went out and got Casey Hayward. All right, so that was the good. Those were the only things really that he liked whatsoever. In terms of the bad, at least the really over-glaring things, they overpaid Kenyon Drake, which I 100% agree with. Drake's a good running back. It wasn't a major need. Traded away Trent Brown. The issue is Trent Brown, when he's healthy and when he's motivated, he's a good player. The guy that the Raiders had last season, you could have given him a box of chocolates, and I would have taken that instead of Trent Brown because that guy was worthless. Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson, yes, those are big-time losses. And then the fact that you drafted Alex Leatherwood, again, they thought that was a little bit of a reach. However, when you see the way that the draft board fell, I'm sorry, Bill, I'm going to disagree with you. They also didn't like the fact that they hired Gus Bradley, which was kind of an interesting mark, too, because they go on to say that, okay, the Chargers had a top-10 defense for like 3 straight years, and then this past season they fell down. One of the biggest reasons why the Chargers defense didn't do so well this past season is because they lost some of their key players. Some of their key players got hurt, like, Bosa, you're talking about Derwin James. When you lose key assets, you're not going to be as good. Breaking news, right? And they also went on to say, like, the Jags defense with Gus Bradley was terrible. That Jags team was horrendous. It's not just because of Gus Bradley. So they also went on to say that they believe that the Raiders should go out and sign an offensive guard because they're not confident in Richie Incognito. They're not confident in Denzel Good. And when I see a lot of these ESPN analysts or some of these more like national media targeting the Raiders' offensive line, the Raiders ranked 28th against the run last year and 10th against the pass, and they had the number 1 highest paid O-line. That's why they made the moves that they did. And if anybody is sitting out there picking apart some of those other moves, to me, it's just lazy analysis. Now, in terms of some of the offensive guards that Barnwell thought that the Raiders should go out and target, the first name that he mentioned, Larry Warford. Warford was actually one of the better guards in the NFL when he was actually on the field. Decided to opt out this year, and he is still a free agent. The other name that he threw out there was Nick Easton, who played in 12 games last season and allowed 12 games last season and allowed 2 sacks. Both of these players, they're not really old. It's just due to injuries more for Easton and, saving money for Minnesota was why they decided to move on from him. But then you got a guy like Warford as well. They ended up moving on from him because of money reasons. So what I'm going to ask y'all is this. Should the Raiders go out and sign a guard? Why for yes and for no? I understand that ESPN, I've even seen Bleacher Report. Everyone's in a full panic mode about this offensive line, and it's understandable. You're really investing and you're hoping that Incognito, who missed 14 games last year, can stay healthy, that Denzel Good can step up, that a right tackle that's a rookie can play well, and somebody who's playing center that's never played there before, Andre James, or I guess I should say never has really made an NFL contribution, there's a lot of things to be scared about. So if you are going to go ahead and type your Y for yes, here are the top 5 offensive guards or the original gangsters still out there on the free agent market. You got Trey Turner. He's in his 8th year, been battling some injuries here or there, also some experience with the Chargers. You got Larry Warford, who we just talked about, Nick Easton, who we just talked about, Joe Dahl, and Brett Jones. Like, I'm gonna say this right now. The only 3 names that even kind of interest me on this list are Turner, Warford, and Easton. Dahl, Jones, no offense, I'm good. I'd rather just rock and roll with the guys that we have. So I appreciate everyone who comes across all of our shows here at the Raiders Report. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, please go ahead and do so. I'm on there at Mitchell Renz 365, literally always checking my DMs, seeing what the heck is going on with all these things. So yesterday, on Monday, I said, hey guys, if you got my back and you want to help me out with something, I want you to DM me, I got you. So I want to give a special shout out to some of the people that DM me, I got you, and help me out. And if you want to help me out and help out the Raiders Report, DM me on Instagram, I got you. Who knows? Maybe you'll find yourself on the show. But I want to give a shout out to Callie Churizo24. Did I get that right? Crafts Savvy Randy, Bad Bing 86, Yo_Sherlock707, and Raider Joe 34. I appreciate you guys having my back, and I want you to know that I got yours.